This is the ENGWE L20 and my first reaction was a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The frame looks compact and practical, the step-through design is low and friendly, and those chunky 20x-3-inch tires give it a tough little utility vibe. I wasn't sure I'd like the smaller frame or the urban cargo style, but after riding it around town, hauling groceries, and folding it a bunch of times, I get why ENGWE went this route. It feels like they actually paid attention to what everyday riders ask for. From my experience, the easy on and off step-through is a bigger deal than I expected. If you've ever fought with a high top tube, this is a relief. I'm just under 6 feet, and the seat height plus the adjustable handlebar made it easy to dial in a comfy ride. If you're shorter or don't love swinging a leg over a tall frame, this setup helps you ride without stress. It also feels sturdy when you're starting and stopping a lot in traffic, which is how I ride most days. Key features that stood out to me are the power, the folding design, and the comfort. The rear hub motor is rated at 750 watts and peaks around 1,125, with a claimed 75 Newton-meters of torque. That translates into real punch when you hit the thumb throttle on a ramp or lean into pedal assist on a hill. On steeper city climbs, I held somewhere around 13 to 15 mph without feeling like the motor was melting. On flat roads, I saw up to about 28 mph with pedal assist and right around 20 mph on throttle only. In my opinion, that's plenty for city riding, mixed paths, and casual weekend routes. The battery on my unit is a 52V13Ah removable pack. If you're new to e-bikes, the simple breakdown is this. Voltage helps with power and responsiveness, and amp hours help with range. Riding in lower pedal assist, I got roughly 60 to 65 miles per charge mixing paved streets and some mild dirt paths. Riding throttle only, I landed closer to 25 to 30 miles. Your numbers will shift based on weight, terrain, wind, and speed, but I never felt trapped by range when I planned a typical week of commutes and errands. Pulling the battery is quick, which is nice for charging indoors. I didn't expect to care this much about the folding part, but I used it a lot. The L20 folds at the frame and the handlebar stem, and the pedals collapse too. It's not light at about 68 pounds, yet I still managed to get it into a trunk without a rack when I needed a quick city-to-trail change of scene. If storage is tight, or you want an e-bike you can move without wrestling a full-size frame, this helps a ton. Comfort surprised me. There's a suspension fork up front and a suspension seat post. Combine that with the fat tires and you get a cushy, planted ride on pavement and grass, and even on a bit of gravel. Loose gravel still gets sketchy, but that's true for a lot of bikes unless you're on super wide tires with aggressive tread. The saddle is better than the usual brick-hard seats I've sat on, so I didn't end a longer ride feeling beat up. The fork did bottom out a couple of times on bigger hits, and I heard a little creak when I rode rough. Not a deal breaker, but something I noticed. Braking is handled by mechanical disc brakes with 180 rotors. They stop well for daily commuting and light trail use. Mechanical setups are simple to maintain and cheaper to service, though you'll tweak cables more often than you would with hydraulics, and you need to respect stopping distance on steep descents. For what this bike is made to do, they get the job done. Gearing is a 7-speed Shimano setup, and here's where I had mixed feelings. The chainring is 48T, and the cassette is 1428T, which is fine for cruising and moderate hills, but on really steep grades I wanted one lower gear, and at higher speeds I ran into ghost pedaling where my legs were spinning faster than the bike's resistance. A wider range cassette or a 9-speed option would make this ride feel more natural across a wider range of speeds. It's not a deal killer, just something you learn to work around with assist levels and throttle. Lights are practical but basic. The headlight points straight ahead and doesn't follow your turns, and the rear light brightens when you brake. For casual night rides, it's okay. If you ride dark streets a lot, I'd add a brighter handlebar-mounted light that moves with your steering. The display is a color LCD mounted at the center of the bars. It shows speed, battery, trip info, and your pedal assist level. It's easy to read and not distracting. I ran most rides between PA 2 and 3 around town, bumping to Pa 5 for hills or when I was hauling groceries. The thumb throttle is smooth and handy when you just want to roll without pedaling through a busy stop-and-go section. Assembly was simple. Mine arrived mostly built. I mounted the front wheel, straightened the bars, checked the brakes, and plugged in a couple of connectors. It took me under an hour at a relaxed pace. After that, I checked bolt torque and tire pressure and was rolling. Cargo is a strong point. The rear rack is sturdy and rated up to around 55 pounds. I used it for a couple of grocery runs and a short hardware store trip, and it felt stable. The front rack is smaller but useful for a backpack or light gear. The battery locks in with a key and slides out quickly for charging, which is huge if you park in a hallway or a shared garage. One thing I don't love is that the key needs to stay in to power the bike. I kept worrying about bending it or losing it mid-ride. It never happened, but I'd still prefer a separate ignition switch. Noise-wise, the motor has a noticeable electric whine, more pronounced on climbs or when I'm really pushing throttle. It's not loud enough to ruin the ride, but if you crave a silent bike, you'll hear it. Also, taller riders over about 6'2" might find the cockpit a bit compact. I fit fine, but I can see how someone with a longer inseam or reach might want more room. In my opinion, the ENGWE L20 2 hits a sweet spot for power, comfort, and foldability without asking you to spend a fortune. It's perfect for city commutes, quick errands, and weekend paths where you want a reliable boost and the option to stash the bike in tight spaces. From my experience, the only real compromises are the basic gearing, the mechanical brakes needing occasional tweaks, and that key-and-ride quirk. The rest of the package feels well thought out for everyday riders. I'd recommend this for new e-bike riders who want an easy learning curve, anyone living in an apartment or small home who needs a foldable frame, commuters who value a comfortable upright position, and folks who want real range without babying the battery. If you're chasing hardcore mountain trails or elite performance, this isn't the tool for that job, and you'll want to look at higher-end components and maybe mid-drive motors. But for most people getting around town with some fun on the side, this checks the right boxes. In conclusion, ENGWE built a practical, rider-friendly folder with enough power for real hills, enough comfort for daily miles, and enough range to keep anxiety low. It's not perfect, but it's honest about what it is, and it delivered more than I expected once I put real hours on it. I'll leave the details about the ENGWE L20 2 in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.